Ladies and gentlemen, what is going on? Fly here. Welcome back to the channel. Today we have a pretty big announcement for high tier gameplay. Well, I hope this thing is a part of high tier gameplay. This is the M163 Vulcan Gatling Fury. Now, before we go deeper into this video, I just want to give you guys a little synopsis on what the hell this thing is. This is, oh my gosh, an hydraulically driven 6-barrel 20mm Vulcan minigun that can fire up to 3,000 rounds per minute. Just to put that in perspective, the fastest firing, I believe, SPAA in War Thunder at this moment is the British Falcon, and that's clocked in at 1,700 rounds per minute. But that's taking into account both guns firing at the same time. So if you just round down to 1,500 because that's how math works, the Vulcan is twice as fast. So this is going to be the fastest anti-aircraft gun in all of War Thunder until, different variants are added. But that's for a different date. But here is my opinion on whether or not it was a good idea to add the M163 Vulcan Gatling Fury into War Thunder. And my conclusion is, just from right now, without even playing it, I think it's going to be a good idea. And primarily my reason is you're going to get bomb less with these guys. You're going to get bombed a lot less. And at high tier, it's going to force the players who normally use the TU2s, the PE2s, the DOE 217s, the slow-moving bombers that have a huge payload that can inflict maybe 4 kills per run. They're not going to be able to loiter around with 3,000 rounds per minute of 20 mil. It's going to force players at high tier to go fast, so that means they're going to use the Arados, the IL-28s, but the Arados aren't going to be going slow anymore. I mean, sure, you still will get bombed, but you won't get bombed as much with 3,000 rounds per minute. It's going to force the players who would normally use slower bombers that have a bigger bomb load to use faster bombers that don't have the biggest bomb load except the IL-28. And so it might be a double-edged sword because it might slice through one problem, but when it comes back, it chops your friend's head off because everyone is now using IL-28s instead of TU2s. So we'll see how it goes, but I think it's going to change some of the meta for high-tier RB air gameplay. Okay, well, tank gameplay, but with planes. So no one's really going to be using any kind of, like slow-moving stuff anymore. They're really going to keep their speed up, and to keep their speed up, they're going to use that new technology called jet engines. So there's my opinion. Let me hear yours in the comments below. Let's get a mature... No, I'm just kidding. I was making a joke because it's hard to get a mature discussion in the YouTube comments, but hopefully we can achieve that today. But let me know what you guys think. Wow, thinks is plural now. In the comments below. We're just going to be taking a look at the dev blog, talking about what this thing has to offer other than 3,000 rounds per minute. And in the future, I believe we'll be getting, these type of Cold War-ish AA for all nations. I'm pretty sure. For some reason, I think these are already confirmed. They were supposed to be released in 1.61. The Russian one, the Quad 23. The German Gepard, the dual 30s. Dude, I don't know where I heard these. Maybe they made an announcement, but they weren't ready to be released yet. Anywho, so the dev blog, they say self-propelled anti-aircraft gun used by the United States Army that was based on the M113 armored personnel carrier. It was fast, lightly armored, amphibious. Can reach up to 4 miles an hour, but only going forward. So, we don't exactly know if this thing will be amphibious right from the start, just because the PT-76 wasn't amphibious for maybe a patch or half a patch or maybe even 2. But the thing is that we can only go forward. So, I mean, I would really think that would be for a Russian vehicle, like no retreat, comrade. But we can only go forward with this. Pretty much what that means is at the turn you have to go forward. There's no reverse, but you can, get back to your original destination if you take a wide enough turning circle. Little more about the vehicle. It was powered by a General Motors 6V53 diesel engine with a maximum of 212 horsepower. With its low weight of 12.5 tons, it was capable of reaching 40 miles an hour, 64. Holy cow, that's 64 kilometers an hour. That is not bad at all. This is probably gonna be one of the fastest, I believe, anti-aircrafts in the game. Holy crap. The SPAA itself was operated by a 4-man crew. So with that top speed the M113 has, or the M163 Vulcan, 40 miles an hour, 64 kilometers an hour, that's some really good news to hear, because if you die in your main battle tank, you got a vehicle to get you back into the action very quickly, hopefully shoot down a plane, or maybe kill another. Oh my gosh, dude. I just want to say something right now. If you have a computer that kind of struggles with War Thunder right now, and you have tier 5 vehicles, yeah, rip FPS. If 2 of these things, like in arcade battles, get into a fight, that is 6,000 rounds that are flying across the screen. All these rounds, I believe, are being tracked. You do the math. Oh my gosh, dude. But anyways, back to the original point. With the speed, you're able to get back into the battle quickly, get some spawn points, and then get back into the action with a medium or heavy tank. So now, let's get nitty gritty and let's talk about the M163 anti-aircraft killing platform, better known as the 20mm M61 Vulcan Gatling cannon. So on the War Thunder dev blog, they say that this thing has a maximum fire rate of 3,000 rounds per minute. Well, on Wikipedia, it tells me a different number. Now, just be aware that the Wikipedia number is the M61A1 variant, but that one can fire at 6,000 rounds per minute. So, you know, twice as fast as the dev blog says, but maybe because that would be fitted on an aircraft or something like that, maybe the barrels can get cooled by the air, you know, when the plane's flying, you know, 500 miles an hour, better than it would be on the ground. But hey, I don't know. But what we know is that this gun could go twice as fast as it could in real life. However, it's a different version. It's the M61A1. So we're starting to see how the M163 will affect the game by its fire rate, by its top speed. Well, now it's going to be on to penetration. So there's been some talk in the community about this thing really won't be that big of a deal. And I kind of agree with that, you know, 20mm, but we have to fucking understand one thing. Sorry about my language, demonetized. This is not like a regular 20mm. Like, people are like, yeah, we'll just have a 20mm, 40mm penetration. So a 20mm has a 40mm penetration, APT Crusader AA, and it uses, I don't know what kind of cannon it's called, the Orliken? I don't. Anyways, we have to remember that is a World War II vehicle. This is pretty much fucking Cold War. And to put it in perspective, that World War II muzzle velocity is 730 meters a second. Not bad at all. However, the M163 Vulcan Gatling gun is clocked in at 1,050 meters a second. So a whole 320 meters a second faster than the 20mm we have in today's game. So it's, you know, if you ask me that question, will this thing have higher penetration than 40mm? I'll say definitely. I'll say it's probably gonna push around 65, 70 maybe. Depends on the type of ammo we get with this thing. Depleted uranium 20mm rounds? Hey, never say never. We have ATGMs in the game. So continuing on, they say thanks to its high muzzle velocity, well, we already found that out, the M61 provides a flat trajectory for the 20 mils. So just think about that. This thing's gonna be pretty darn easy to use, and I can kind of already figure out how I'm gonna use it. I see a MiG-17 going right to left. I aim to the left. I get a kind of good location where he might intersect, and you know what I'm doing? I'm gonna spool up those barrels, hold down the trigger, 3,000 rounds per minute. That's 50 rounds per second. And, you know, let's say that MiG-17's in that, you know, my spray area for a quarter of a second. That's 12, 14, 20 mils that hits it. Holy shit, this thing's going to be devastating if you can get good with predicting where an enemy plane will go. They say the maximum range of the cannon is just over 3 miles. Like, oh, it's not too far. So you're able to engage planes far out. And if someone brings in like a Tu-4, a B-29, a slow-moving bomber, yeah, you can engage those things before they even get over the combat zone. Its elevation is 80 degrees up and -5 below, so it gets some depression. Pretty standard. Now, this is where it gets kind of confusing. They say the M163 standardly, never even used standardly before, carried 100 pieces of ammunition. So is that 200 rounds? I don't really understand that. Maybe I'm misinformed. But on Wikipedia, they say that the M163 has 1,100 rounds. So if you get really trigger happy, now just remember 3,000 rounds per minute with 1,100 rounds of ammunition. If you hold that trigger down, your entire ammo stash, cache, whatever you want to call it, could be gone in 20 seconds, or maybe even below that. So that's some food for thought. The next topic really scares me. They say, while the vehicle uses a small radar for range calculations, not that big of a deal. You know, we have range finders, you know, but those aren't radar, blah, blah, blah. Its weapon was not radar guided and was dependent on an optical lead calculating sight operated by the gunner. I have no idea how that will be used in War Thunder. However, we have different anti-aircrafts where its gun was radar guided, such as the Gepard. Are we gonna have radar guided anti-aircraft in game? Like radar guided SPAAs. Holy crap. If that is the case, the skies are gonna be cleared after this next patch over every single map. But maybe, hopefully War Thunder won't have, you know, you click a button and it tracks the plane. I don't think that will happen, but never say never. It might happen. A little bit more about the M163. They state that its max armor is up to 45 millimeters, so that will protect you from small arms fire, but anything above 30 mil will be able to go right through there. And to close out the devblog, War Thunder states that comparing this gun to a chainsaw would be an insult. So I guess we gotta call it the M163 laser beam. Guys, I hope you have enjoyed this video. I'll be bringing you guys more information on patch 1.63 in the very near future. Hopefully the next devblog will be out on Monday, so stay tuned. And until next time, guys, have a great day and peace out.